When I saw tonight's theme, unfortunately, I remembered something that I did over 50 years ago that I kind of tried to forget. I never told anybody before tonight that I did this. Yeah, and I'm doing it on stage, and it's going to be on YouTube. Now, I did call my friend Christy, who usually comes with me to Story Slam, because she's in this story. I just called her right before I left. And she remembers this time period, but she had no idea what I did. But don't judge me. I was 15. Hormones were raging, peer pressure. And I was the only one of my girlfriends that didn't have a boyfriend. I didn't care, but all my friends seemed to care. They were kind of obsessed with it, kind of like now. Everyone thinks I need one. Now, one day at lunch, when they were going on and on, blah, 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 about their boyfriends, and they were looking at me, I decided to take matters in my own hands. I don't know what possessed me, but out of my mouth came, "Keith and I went to the movies last night." Did I do that? Do you think I'd really make up a fake boyfriend? Sadly, kind of did. Now, I don't know if any of you are as old as I am and went to the Nessville Park dances in the 70s. Did anybody go there? Woo! Jordan Brothers, right? That was the place to be. And every Tuesday, my friend, who was a year older, drove a bunch of us girls there. And it was a good place to meet guys from other schools. Of course, all my friends met somebody, and they ran off as soon as we'd get there, and I'd never see them the rest of the night. And I'd be standing there by myself. Yeah, can you see why I had to make up a fake one? Now, that night was interesting. I saw this guy. He was all alone. He had this thick blonde hair. The back of his shirt said, Manheim Township 74. I was Manheim Central 75. He turned, and it said, Keith. And he had these piercing blue eyes. You know those eyes? That they are looking right through you? His made me shudder. And I knew I'd never forget those eyes. So when I needed a fake boyfriend, I decided to reach high, and I picked this guy with the piercing blue eyes, Keith. He was from another school, so I figured my friends would just let me go. They wouldn't bother me anymore. No, they became more obsessed. And every day they asked me more questions. And let me tell you, having a fake boyfriend is much harder than having a real one, especially when you never had a real one. Now, the time came when my friend Christy really wanted to meet Keith. She said, why don't you invite him to the winter dance? You can come with Den and I. We can double date. Well, that wasn't going to happen. So something needed to happen, and something needed to happen quick. And you know what Keith did? He broke up with me. Yeah, I was so into this story, I actually thought he was real. And you know how he broke up with me? He wrote me a Dear Marianne letter. Yeah, because I needed proof. And it was real sloppy, too, because I wrote it in my left hand. Now, I took this letter down to my friend's house. I lived at the top of the hill. She lived at the bottom. And Christy opened the door, and I was all ready. I had tears running down my face. Yeah, I should have gotten an Academy Award for this one. And she said, what's wrong? And I shoved the letter in her face. She goes, I can't read this. It's real sloppy. I go, it's Keith. He broke up with me. Yeah, I knew exactly what it said because I wrote it. And she said, how could he do that? The dance is Friday, and you already have your dress. Did I do that? Did I actually buy a dress for a dance that I wasn't going to go to with a fake date? Well, of course I did. Because all my friends were going to get dresses, and they drugged me along, and it gets worse. I bought a piercing blue one to match Keith's eyes. Now, Christy and my other friends felt sorry for me, so they drugged me along to the dance with them and their dates. And I was wearing my piercing blue dress, and luckily, shortly after that, I got a real boyfriend, and so they just left me alone. But 10 years later, I'm now married to my husband, Mark, and he was real. I didn't make him up. And we had 2 little boys, and they were real too. And when they were toddlers, we went to church every week. Yeah, I know, I should be going to church because I made up a fake boyfriend. But they were in the nursery every week. And one week when I was picking up my little boys, There was a dad picking up his little girl. And when he turned around, my jaw dropped. There were those piercing blue eyes. And he reached out his hand and he said, "Hi, I'm Keith. Have we met before?" You know, part of me wonders, that 1 second eye lock we had, was I Keith's made-up girlfriend? Did he do that? Thank you.